So we are at Recovery Awareness Day 2025, and I am here with Josh Bone. He is
I am the Director of Business Development for Achieve Behavioral Health Services. We just opened in Gaston County. Also the founder of Anchor of Hope Sober Living, a large sober living community located in Charlotte, North Carolina.
perfect. Yeah. How many houses are you up to now?
We have 24 homes, about 165 beds. 9 of those are women's homes, 14 are men's.
Perfect. No, that's awesome. Yeah. What fill us in on Achieve. What are y'all up to?
So Achieve is a Medicaid-based SACOT program with supportive housing. Currently, we're at 35 beds. We'll expand to 40 by the end of this month. So the end of July, we'll be at 40 beds. Achieve is based out of Maryland. Up in Maryland, they have a men's program, a women's program, and a mental health primary as well. Planning to open a women's program early next year, hoping January, February. Will continue to be gender-specific treatment, both for men and women, and we have an IOP for men opening this Monday.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Y'all are moving quick.
Yeah, man. I
mean, it's needed.
Yeah, I'm really just. I love the pace. I love how they're striving to meet the need. We started with 12 beds and kind of slow rolled into things and hiring staff and upping as we go with census, and should be at 40 beds. I found out while I was here that we went on a wait, so
there you go.
No shortage of people in that demographic that are looking for service.
Yeah.
So it's needed, and grateful for it. And just grateful for the work they're doing here in North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, I know everybody can say the same about what you do, right? Like, I wasn't at Blanchard for maybe a week before I knew who Josh Bone was. You know what I mean? So that says a lot about you and what you do. And I know you inspire a lot of people, and the work that you do, it says a lot. You know what I mean? You just said it yourself, right? 100 and what? How many beds at Anchor of Hope?
Have about 165 beds.
165 beds. So, yeah, I mean, I know the relationship with Blanchard has gone on for a while. Just care to speak about how Anchor of Hope came into existence? What kind of brought that around? And
so about 7 years ago, I started working in substance abuse treatment. It was kind of a dream of mine as I finally got sober after 10 years of substance abuse. I wanted to give back. I wanted to serve in a way. I didn't have any credentials or anything that allowed me to do that. Carolina Center for Recovery gave me a great opportunity working as just a behavioral health technician. And I began to see the massive need here in Charlotte for quality sober living. I would see people complete our program and then they would not have anywhere to go, or things didn't work out at wherever they went. My experience in sobriety consisted of about 50 different state-funded detox facilities. Mm-hmm. And then if I was fortunate or willing, I ended up in a sober living home. Some of those were great, some of them not so great, but I gained valuable experience everywhere that I went. I felt like God was leading me in a position to be of greater service. In April of 2019, I started Anchor of Hope with a GoFundMe account and about $60. The need was met by the recovery community, the faith-based community. Quickly raised enough funds to open our first home, establish who we were, and it just really took off from there. We opened our second home that same year, 4 more during COVID, and the need has been ever present since. The good thing with that is the staff that have worked with me, my house managers, my general residents have really embodied what we wanted Anchor to be. We wanted it to be a community. We wanted it to be a fellowship, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, more of a family instead of just a house where random people lived. That connection, being the opposite of addiction, is something that I've truly seen and experienced in my own life, and that's something we strive for in all of our homes. We strive to teach morals and values, those things that we lost in active addiction, things like integrity and humility and honesty, and versus just like a checkbox of like, go to these meetings and sweep this floor. We really want them to learn to live, and that's we give them a chance to represent themselves, to work and choose a job of their choosing, to not be placed in a certain place. We give them an opportunity to create an identity. They can choose between AA, NA, CA, Celebrate Recovery. Because I feel that although we're led in a certain path, we should still have choices in our own recovery that creates who we become. Because in my experience, I wanted nothing to do with who I was previously. I wanted to create and become a person that I'd never been before. Those promises of a new freedom and a new happiness came through creating a new person.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you touched on a few things. So I think the connection piece is vital for clients, but I also think, kind of the whole point of Recovery Awareness Day, right, is the connection between industry peers, right? And so you even spoke on it, and you're an example of it several times, right, where you were at CCR opening Anchor of Hope, right? Now you're owner of Anchor of Hope with 23 sober living scattered throughout Charlotte, and also working with Achieve, right? So how would you say the connection between industry professionals is important as well too, especially with, obviously competition, right, comes into play when you're in business, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same team here. Maybe we report and have different logos on our chest, but at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I said that I had a couple team members show up for RAD, and it was their first experience with RAD today. And some of them have never been to these types of events where there's a lot of business development and industry professionals and things like that. And one of my men's director was like, I saw this person here, I saw this person there. We're not just, as you said, we're wearing different logos on a shirt, but we are fighting the same battle. I had the same conversation with another sober living owner just yesterday of the integrity and of working together. We're all here for the same purpose. I love that, and it for me, and from what I can see now over the years as Anchor has developed, is that is just pushed things forward more so than any kind of marketing or advertising. When they see, oh, this guy does this, but he also is in the 12-step rooms, he's sponsoring guys, he's speaking at meetings, he's doing the same things that I require them to do, just maybe a little couple steps ahead or whatever. And that's what I want all these guys to grow into, and the ladies. I want them to become members of a 12-step program. I want them to sponsor, because that's all I have is my experience, and that's what I've done. Is I got into service, and I didn't just sit on the outside. I didn't just show up and fill a chair. I became a part of, because I felt so secluded and isolated, and I hated myself, and I didn't like me. How could anybody like me?
Right.
If you want to build self-esteem, you got to do esteemable things, and that's what we've really taught our residents to do, and it's worked. That's the coolest thing, is I get to go to meetings now, and like I see guys that I remember when they came in that couldn't take their eyes off the floor because they wouldn't lift their head. They're standing up telling their story. They're talking of how they've rebuilt and gained some respect for themselves and have a life. It's really incredible. And on the other side of that, from the work that we've done, it allowed me to build and grow organically the relationships that I have with many, many facilities such as Blanchard. And I take it as a vote of confidence when a facility that has choices calls me and wants to house their people with us. It's no secret that we're a little more cost competitive, but even families that could or had resources to go to other places choose to come to Anchor. And to me, that is the greatest compliment that you can give to us, is they trust their people, their clients, the people that they are protective over, to live with us and for us to host them. And maybe they're an IOP, maybe they just completed a program, or whatever it might be. It's something that I say to families when I have the chance to speak to families is, thank you for trusting us with your loved ones, because that's what they're doing. And it's not, buying a car from someone. It's not even buying a home. It's life. And there's one chance at that. And we want to get that right. And all of it's not on us. It's not all our responsibility. But if you prepare and you have a place where it's safe and people can recover, because I've seen people do it, that evidence is imperative. I love that when people come in and they have some doubt and they have some guilt and they have some shame, and their house manager will sit down with them and tell where they were 9, 12 months ago, 15 months ago. And I'm at a point now that unfortunately people don't get to see that. I showed up in Charlotte with $7 in my pocket. I was on probation. I rode a bicycle to meetings, and they don't see the whole story now. They see that I own Anchor of Hope, and I do all this stuff, and I got a nice truck, but that's not how it always was. In fact, it's not been like that for a majority of the time. It took work, and it took the things that we're trying to get people to do to acquire the things that people see as attractive. The other part of this with Achieve is the opportunity literally came to me. Achieve was coming down from Maryland. I really had no idea what their plan was, or even ideally what their program was. I knew that I met with their COO, but really I was just telling them about our programs. And they asked if I was interested in working with them to create a Medicaid program in Gaston County. Gaston County is where I'm from. It's where the height of my addiction. I was literally living in hotels and bouncing in and out of hospitals, and they knew my name at the detox, and now the opportunity to create treatment that has never been touched in Gaston County for the same people and same demographic that I was a part of is an absolute dream come true. And I feel very much placed in that position to be of service at a greater level. And the connection between Anchor is organic again. People are going to want to come to a place where they see success. And that's exactly what has happened there as well. But to be a part of that founding team, I was the first hire for Achieve here in North Carolina. And I've been able to see our entire team come together, from our clinical director to all of our counselors, our case management, even, we call our techs CAs. To see these CAs come in that are starting their journey of working in recovery just like I was 7 years ago. It's been incredibly humbling and just powerful to see the passion that these guys are bringing to the table and the work that we're beginning to do. We'll be at 40 beds by the end of this month, and we've already completed several people. We've got some guys that are just on track to really do this thing. Some guys that are, already wanting to come back and serve and come on the team. We require a year for that, but man, it's powerful. It's powerful stuff.
Some of them are eager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great. Yeah.
And these are guys that, with us being a men's program, these are guys that wouldn't have gotten that chance. They would have been in 5 to 7 days in a state-funded detox, and they'd have been right back on the streets. And chances are that, we know what happens there. It's that Russian roulette, and death sometimes finds them, or jails, or that same story. And we're really interceding and creating an intervention that's going to change the trajectory. And ultimately, with the amount of people that we're serving, we're hoping to really change the trajectory of Gaston County in general. I've seen the impact that places like CCR and Blanchard and Dilworth, and they're really investing. And Charlotte has become a recovery hub. I've witnessed that. You've witnessed that. These years where all these facilities are starting to direct people back into the community here in Charlotte, and we've really become a powerful presence in the recovery community with a lot of people, a lot of meetings, a lot of solution here in Charlotte. And we're hoping that reaches the outsources there in Gaston County to really deposit back into the community.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, let me ask you, what anybody who's listening to this, whether it's a professional who has somebody that might need your services, or whether it's a person themselves who needs your services, how do we get a hold of you?
To reach me, you can find me on my personal Facebook page. I use that site the most. It's just Josh Bone on Facebook. You can follow me. Anchor of Hope is also found on Facebook at Anchor of Hope Sober Living. You can find Achieve listed as Achieve Behavioral Health Services NC. You can also check out our website, www.anchorofhopesoberliving.org. Our admissions line is 833-282-4673. So lots of ways, but the easiest probably is on Facebook.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate everything you do, and it's definitely noticeable. And I know countless people have been touched by what you're doing, so we appreciate everything you do.
It's a pleasure to be useful today. Thank you. Thank you. Very
Absolutely.
grateful.
Cool.